I'll just wait for a few people who are alive in the world to come on. Just wait around till a few people get on. How are we all? And there is a relevant reason I'm going to be doing this video, but we'll get into that shortly. Because I've had a few updates as to how people have been feeling. The most random day, generally, I will have now what one would call a download. So I'll have a random chain of events. Hi, Hardley, how are you? Hi, lovelies. Hi, Raven. I'll wait for some people to climb on board and we'll have a quick, what I call a chit chat. Hi, Jennifer, how are you? Perfect timing, no joke. There's a reason why I'm here. And I've noticed a synchronicity going on with the website. Not website, YouTube. Hi, Mandy, how are you? Now, a lot of us at the moment are getting triggered. We're getting triggered like no tomorrow. And I need to help you guys understand why my cat's going crazy. I need you guys to understand what's going on energetically. Now, we went through... Hi, neighbour, how are you? We still have to have a chit-chat, you and I, about our private SMS earlier. Okay, so... a lot's been going on, and it's getting a bit warm now. Oh, do you like the feminine top? I've got a feminine top. I should add that to the website for the girls. Okay, so energetically, yes, we do. A lot of us are getting triggered. Now, hey, Jen, how are you? A lot of us are getting triggered, but we're also, and this is not just connected to twins, but energetically speaking with what's going on. Now, you will notice a lot of synchronicities going on around you. You're also going to notice a lot of really strange dynamics going on. This can be in relationships. It can be in your personality. It can be with your purging. Little things cropping up from the past, and everyone's going, what on earth is going on? This is not one area, okay? It's a very strange energy, and people are really finding it very hard to comprehend what the devil's going on. Because it's almost like everything's been flowing along fine, and then all of a sudden it's like life has done a 360 and you're going, what the fuck has just happened? What the hell has happened is there is a shadow period of the retrograde. Now, where we are, you know, from what I have been told, with this cycle is going to be a 7-year cycle. Now, that's not to say that energetically speaking, we're going to feel like this for 7 years, but it very much is. A lot of the learning process of what we had in 2016, you know, where there was no forward motion. You know, some countries were going through recessions. There was that real stagnation really in life where movement wasn't happening. In 2017, there was that aspect of movement, but very much there was that really hard energy that it was almost like there was a trigger point. My cat's going nuts. I mean, she's driving me crazy, this cat. There's trigger points almost every month where there was another situation. It might have been family related, work related, something really energetically was always going on, and it's like, God, you know, what now? And that really was when I would hang out with my girlfriend Lauren, it'd be, okay, next, what's coming next? Now, we were anticipating change in 2018, and everyone was very energetically excited about that change of chapter, change of times, being a number 2 year. It's supposed to bode better for relationships. And I'll tell you the reason why it's not looking so right now. You're needing to direct your energy correctly at a given area. So if it's a relationship as such, you need to heavily give your attention and work very hard towards it. If it's a career, you also, and it can be several things, but it's going to require work on it to get the best results. However, a lot of what has been going on, very ironically, but almost relevant, is with the retrograde cycle. A lot of what we didn't purge, and when I say purge, I mean release, let go of, so we may freely move forward. That's becoming very heavy at this point in time. Now, January, when we entered 2018, a lot of us really felt super uneasy, almost like, oh shit, what's going to happen next? Because we had had so many things happen from 2016, pushing shit uphill in 2017, really scratching out to try and get to 2018, and they're going, what the fuck now? Now, it felt for many of us like, where are we going? Where do we go from here? What do we expect? And it was very much an energy of what's coming, and a great deal of fear connected to the unknown. But the unknown is a lot of who we are right now. We are stepping into who we have always been. Yet many of us have been saying, who are we? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I want. The reality is who you are today is what you want. It's just how to attain that, how to apply that energy, how to remove those blocks. Now, these trigger points with the retrograde are helping you purge them. Now, unfortunately, that may mean for many of us going back over old ground. And that can cause dynamics. It can cause communication related issues. It can cause fear connected to what we can and can't control. Very much moving into next month, it is ego-based, but we'll have that shadow period already coming through where we're understanding the paradigms of what we can and what we can't control. And we're very much getting triggered by that because it's almost this aspect that every dynamic of what's traditional really does not relate to us anymore on a spiritual path. And this is for people that are in traditional relationships. This is for people that, have been in that twin flame connection where you're really trained to come to a place where you need to look at that dynamic very differently. It won't look like a traditional 3D relationship. And when I say a traditional 3D relationship, it can be that the journey as such has changed you to a point by having that direct connection with twin, be it you've been intimate or you haven't. It's changed the energy and the frequency of you as a human being that you no longer can live like a normal person in society. And when I'm saying that, I'm meaning whatever it is in a sense of a trigger that will come through, it will push you into a different way of seeing the world. And when that happens, people can get very triggered by it. They're like, no, but that's not who you are. But it really is. And I'm really trying to get around to a main point here. And it's like, this could be a long story. Okay, for instance, being in a normal relationship, I mean, I can directly relate to this in some shape or form. And it's very much my way of thinking was, if you're a partner, a wife, whatever that be, depending on what your ethics are connected to your mindset and your value systems, there may be boundaries connected to what's acceptable. Now, a lot of those paradigms I had to outgrow because my spirit, in a sense, was larger than what that box was. So the way I directly related within relationships became very different. And it was a journey, so to speak, to discover myself and what I felt was acceptable, not what society felt was acceptable. So that can be the freedom you have with your friends or the way you directly relate in relationships, the styles of people you mix with, regardless of their colour, their race, their ideals, that you're directly respecting them for who they are without placing them in a box. And that's very much twin. So really getting triggered by a twin to a point where it is not judgment, but at times with this retrograde, it's going to appear like an aspect of judgment because we're both going to get very triggered. Now, many people, be it twin or not twin, it is a collective energy. So there are dynamics going on where we may be going back over old ground. And this is in many areas. This is people, if you've had blocks connected to your weight, you could have triggers connected to that. If you have had drug or alcohol related habits, that can come back on the table. If you've had a block connected to a relationship that you directly haven't purged, it can be that you find a connection that is similar to that situation, but you might not even know you're doing this, where you're going back over old ground to process a different relationship within a different connection. So it's like a way you're purging an aspect of something you haven't let go of. So many masculines or feminines may be doing an aspect of this. Many people, in a sense, might be going back over old ground, connected to family dynamics that had been unresolved, friendships that had been, really not working correctly. Just really going back over old ground. Now, how many of you have been having these trigger points, and what trigger points have you had while I light my cigarette? Joys of processing, eh? Fucking retrograde. Wait, yeah, great, eh? Why is DM in hermit mode? Okay. The funny thing is, how you will be is how they will be. And many of us, it may be safe to just ride that wave. And that's really the best way I can describe what we're going through right now. The reality is, with ego, it is directly connected to us feeling we have a sense of control. And in a twin connection, and in any connection in general, it's a very low frequency to feel you own. Now, twins do feel eternally married, in a sense that they're the souls together. That's the only way I can describe it. So it is like it's a spiritual marriage, so to speak. So there's a spiritual connection, but you do need to learn that spiritually, that aspect of the two connections is to help you grow, and it's for a given reason, and it is divinely guided. So anything that's been put in your path, be it saying, oh shit, I've done this, and look, I've got X, Y, and Z, why did I no, there's a bigger picture at hand. You need to trust in that process. Definitely you need to come to a place where you understand it is a learning curve, and you need to release and believe. Okay, and this is really interesting because I will keep this person's name anonymous, unless of course they want to jump on here, because they may be on here, hint. Twin is very much, when you deem it as such, when you're stating that term, it's almost based on the external world will be looking at you going, is it real? It very much is a situation where people would say, but it's a belief system. And it's a bit like saying someone believes in Allah or Jesus or Buddha. It is a spiritual-based connection to the core you believe. Now, many people would say, you're nuts. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? But this internal belief system and knowing, you do prove them wrong. And it's not that you're going out there intentionally to prove them wrong. Your core belief system and energy of a connection you have, you know who the person is. You grow to understand what the process is, and you become experienced in that setting. Many, when you hear a twin has come out of union and you're a reader, you're freaking the hell out. This is a process. This is all part of your life path, and every path will be different. I recall going back over old ground of me being a reader, and many people, how would they put it? They would look at my road, and this is just in general in life, and do a reading, and they'd look at me and go, how can you do it? How can you do your life? The reality is, it's my life path. What your life path is different. So each person's life path and the way that they navigate through it, and what your destiny and soul path is going to be different, because you chose what you were to learn in this lifetime. So how you go about it, the experience you have, how it's going to trigger the generations behind us, all of that is relevant to us as a collective growing spiritually. So, all this mumbo jumbo of DM, TF, it's lingo. It's conversations and talk connected to what it is. In general, this is about a learning curve connected to male and female energy, and how we're directly going to relate to each other, and how we're going to move through that aspect of adversity and spiritual growth. So the term is relevant and it's real. And that's my core belief system through my experience. How you directly deal with it, you can have one twin who chooses that path is too hard. Don't ever let somebody tell you it can't happen. That's your truth. You internally have a knowing. Don't ever let a 3D situation block you to a point you lose belief in it. There is divine timing. I'm sorry if it's cutting off. It's crappy connection. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Jen. It is a faith-based situation, but it's an internal knowing. Now, My twin, for instance, I've known them for over 16 years. My life path was what my life path was. How it went is how it went. Do I have anger? No, I don't. It is what it is. What my growth is has been a benefit to my spiritual growth. Why do I not look angry? Because it's an aspect of me growing into myself as a human being and a spiritual person. Because you have faith connected to the process and what you learn out of the situation. And it is very much, you do need to have unconditional love to a human being in general, regardless. This has helped me as an empath, a spiritual healer, understand the reasons why people do what they do. You know, understand that mindset of why things happen. But also stand in your power. And you need to know that. You need to know the difference between that. You need to grow into that. But I needed to tell you guys that's what's happening right now for us as a collective, not just twin, in general. What we're going through is relevant. This is a process of purging, and it is going to bring up the dark aspects of yourself. It can bring up your fears. It can bring up your inadequacies, your ego-related issues. Anything you have not resolved, it will bring it to the forefront where you need to directly deal with it. It can be trigger points, emotions, you know, waves of emotions coming through. So look, yesterday, I can tell you, I was reaching out and trying to make phone calls and no MF was available. And it's like, and then this morning, bang, bang, bang. The whole bloody day, all day, telephone calls, bullshit. And I'm like, I already dealt with that energy. Generally speaking, before I do readings, you know, I will have a month beforehand where I've already received the download and I already know what's coming. And that's because that's where I'm at spiritually, where I receive that download and go, shit's going to go down. So what else have we been experiencing? Okay, so, you know, some of you need to get that DM needs to be released to do their work. And look, again, that's an aspect of ego. If you feel you need to fix, it's not your job. You have your own life. Get your shit together. Focus. Refocus back on self. What are you doing? Why are you giving your power away? And it's hard to cop that, sweet. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, hey, what have you been doing? That, you know, you need to own your part in situations. You need to have a look. And look, Jen's done this to me and I love little bitch to pieces. Yes, I do, Jen. You're my little angel. And she helps me see, you know, and that's what friendships can do. You can work with people that are like-minded, like yourself. Yeah, you are. Well, compared to me, I'd be a bloody tower, Jen. You told me your height ratio. I mean, I'd be a bloody Cindy Crawford / big hippie bitch. So, but the thing is, when something happens, be it you choose to be in a connection with twin or you don't, because again, it is a choice. Although energetically it doesn't feel like it, I can tell you. But automatically speaking, it is a spiritual process. You're going to get triggered. So, you know, sometimes I'll have a trigger and I'll be on the phone going, you know, and she'll be going, whoa, whoa, whoa. How does this relate to you? Because we do mirror each other. And 9 times out of 10, even with a friendship-based situation, it again can be lack of communication, a breakdown in communication, a differing of views. I mean, we're educated for this point. We should know this because a lot of a twin flame journey directly stems from childhood. And where we're going, if DM is going back to a situation that mirrors a karmic-related dynamic, be that whatever that is, you will know what your twin's block is. You've then got to stop and go, okay, where is this an aspect of myself? Where is this an aspect of my shadow self? And you know how fucking tired I am of doing that? I'm like I said, you know, I'm looking under my armpits and my feet and I'm going, is there any more purging I need to do? Because, you know, I've gone through aspects where with partners, I was so triggered I'll go through phones. Now, trust me, I've still that has died for me. I will not go there. That to me is me giving my power away, and I am not babysitting, no karmic, no twin. You want to be like that? That's just where I'm at vibrationally. I just can't be bothered. It's like if you have to do that, where the fuck are you at? Frankly. Also, energetically, chasing, that shit's gone. Dead, gone. I'm tired. Like, If I'm going to be chasing some shit, it's going to be chasing my cat around the block, okay? Because I have better things to do. I do have my own life. I have my own fucking access. I pay my own bills. If I had a ring, I'd fucking put it on. Believe me, because I'm married to me. I'm married to the love of my life, which is doing the right thing by me. So if you can love yourself enough, and trust me, I talked to a girlfriend tonight that I haven't talked to in months. We did a lot of healing work. You know, and I hope it remains that way. But ultimately speaking, who I am today is a different person. I've evolved. And you guys will too, spiritually, through this retrograde and the shadow period. It is a jackass of a journey, but what a blessing in disguise. Look, I talked to a few good friends of mine today on Skype. Many of us were having triggers. We had the crappiest day. Many of you yesterday would have had that as well. And some of you in different parts of the world, your trigger points may be today. But it's like a wave, and it is as a collective. I've literally been talking on Skype and we've shuffled the same set of decks, you know, and asked the same given question and got the same cards. It's a collective energy, and we need to understand that what's going on isn't just, you know, me. It's all of us as a collective are getting these triggers. So if I bore you guys to tears and I'm getting up here to talk to you, you know, it's for us as a collective, because there's a lot going on and we're going, what is going on? Why is this happening? Masculines are going through the dark night of the soul, but they've got to go back over old ground. Feminines, look at your history. That's your resume. Now, what did you go through in order to release your blocks and move forward? Because you visually are seeing how you did it, and you're thinking by speaking it, you can guide a person through that. And that's any human being in life. And that is an aspect of you being codependent to that aspect of control. And again, it's ego. You need to release that. You stand and walk in your truth. People, if they choose to learn off you, will learn from you. You've got to walk the walk and talk the talk. You need to be in that and move through adversity to be that teacher. You don't need to guide people with their hands and tell them what to do. That's their road. That's their path. We are not God. You know, that really is something that people need to get to when they're divinely guided and ready to. We can request and state, but generally speaking, again, it's divine timing. It's like quitting alcohol, quitting smoking. Again, it's a choice, a personal choice of when they're ready to directly deal with that block. So like I said, I will be doing videos on toxicity. I have spoken with a person privately in relation to that, which is a client. And again, because of this shadow period, we very much are going back over old ground. Many of us have blocks, and we do need to learn techniques in order to work with these aspects of blocks so we can move it forward. And I will be reaching out to different people and seeing if I can talk to them. And that might be connected to people who have had, you know, aspects of toxicity. Good on you, Justine. Well done. High five. Justine, quit smoking, as I light mine up. Don't do it. What do they say? Do as I say, not as I do. So yes, I want to do different videos, not just your zodiacs, because, you know, with these things going on energetically, we really need to, good girl. That used to be my nickname, Turkey. Okay, we really need some life tools to work through this aspect of adversity, so that we can have these techniques instead of having the Band-Aid effect and then we're going, oh, you know, what are we doing? Because really, in a retrograde or going through an aspect of the dark night of the soul, when you mix aspects to try and suppress it, all you're doing is preventing and delaying the inevitable. Shh, Marie. Anything else we've been dealing with? As I drink my tea. You got to have naps. My mum used to eat minties, but then, yeah, she was like, oh, I'm putting on weight with these. I quit smoking when I was on holiday with my mother. As I said, damn straight, never going to do that again. I love you, Mum. I ain't going on holiday and quitting smoking with you there. because I needed to have more than a smoke after that. Karmic is attacking me and my friends to unfriend me and choose her over divine masculine. Okay. Karmic is attacking. Yes, I know. Steer clear. Let it fall how it falls, doll, because a lot of us, step back. You'll be in the crossfire. Just step back and let it fall. He's got to choose his energy to deal with it. It's not your job. I got in that shit too. You just step the fuck back. Row the boat. Get the fuck out. Vaccinating with my, yeah, vacations with my, yeah. Oh, look, I love my mum. Whoa. Wondering if your luck will ever change anytime. Trust me, we are all feeling that. We're all feeling that. Hey, Michigan. Could someone go through the dark night of the soul for years? Mate, if you have, you're a friggin' old soul. Look, unless you're picking up on a twin's energy and you're becoming so empathic to the point you're receiving downloads from other people because you have an aspect of a psychic gift, I would deem that as no, you know, and it's probably best to get that checked, you know. Your vibration might be out. Yeah, get it checked. Look, especially with the retrograde, it's going to be heavier for you, so it's going to be harder, but it'll be heavier around this time because of the retrograde. You got your nails done. I want to get some holes in my nails to do, like, you know, the piercings like Rihanna. I'm like, what? I know, so immature at my age. I know, you need to disconnect the empath from it when it comes to it, because it is, yes, you're mirroring each other, but you got to directly look at yours and let them deal with that, even if it means it falls to shit. Okay, Michelle, tune in till you have it. You need to keep saying, I've got the job, it's done, it's in the bag, and I'm moving forward. A lot of feminines are releasing aspects of control, and that is physically getting very tired in the journey, getting to a point where you're saying, you know what, I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. You know, many of you are at that frequency. That's okay. Go with the flow. Focus directly energy on self. Get it. Totally get it. But it's a process, okay? There's a reason it's happening, because from childhood you would have been an empath. You would have really, there would have been an imbalance in a sense of you having to gauge the situation. But remember, TF situation, mirroring situation going on, masculine and feminine, both sides, dealing with the same thing. So, you know, from a compassion-based point of view, how you directly deal with your adversity, it may be different in the way they process theirs, and you have to respect that. It's the way it goes, right? None of us are in a good place, trust me. Okay, so what was I going to say? A lot of us have come to that point where you're going, you know what, fuck it. I'm really done. I'm really done with this. Moon in Cancer, I can call you. Are you okay now? Now, there's a reason this is happening. Childhood. Haven't got the Barbie dolls yet. They're coming. Trust me, they're coming. I mean, I even questioned YouTube. I was like, why the fuck am I doing this for? How can I help? I went through my little and then got the hell over it. Why am I? We're all blessed. We're all blessed in this jackassy journey. Oh, thank you, Dale. Yes, I think we all need it. I think as a collective, we all need it. And this is why at times I go, you know what? Everyone's coming to me today, my friends. You know, bless yous all. I know what you're going through. I'm directly going through it myself. Divine masculines are going through this energetically as well. How we're directly being triggered because of maybe triggers they're having. We're going to take it personal, but we need to get out of that 3D self. Now, I know that's hard at that time to feel it. We do need to come to a very, I wouldn't say a sympathetic place, let them do what they need to do. As human beings, release, accept, be in your own personal energy. This is a process and it's what you're guided to do. Many of you early on in the journey really have not knowing how powerful you are. And when I say how powerful you are, not having your own internal compass. Now, in the beginning stages, you would have had a mother or father figure, and this doesn't have to be DNA. This can be kin, someone deemed as kin. One or the other parent might have been quite a trigger point for you, and it would have made you an empath, so to a point. So you might have had to have gauged what they needed, really given quite a bit, or really craved that attention, but really never got it. And that's either side, male or female. This is childhood-related dynamics. Now, through that movement, at some point in your life, you would have become a giver and not a receiver, and the vice versa energy for male or female, whatever energy you hold in twin connection. And this is as a collective, really, male or female in general, as human beings. Now, the giving and taking being out of balance, you would have received both energies. At times people might have felt you were selfish, and then at times you might have been giving too much. And it's almost like scales, really trying to weigh them up and keep them balanced to a point where you're being fair on the basics of give and take, and life becoming your educator through adversity. Different dynamics would have come into your life that really would have shaped your views. Now, that would have been your childhood-related dynamics and the way in which you viewed your family history. So mum and dad, how they were together, or kin, or adopted parents, whoever they directly be, auntie, uncle, whatever your DNA or non-DNA family were. That shaped your energy of where you were going and how things were going, what you were going to learn. Now, twin means all of that shit breaks away. And you're holding on to it because it's all you know. You're like, no, that's relevant. And you form an opinion connected to it, which shapes aspects of your learning and adversity. So for divine masculines, it might have been that they saw mum and dad weren't so great, so they wanted to have a better connection. Or it might have been that, their childhood wasn't so great, so when they had children, they really wanted to give heaps. It may have been that they just questioned the whole entity of relationships and just went, fuck you, I'm not having a relationship. Whatever that was, life then trains you, and you have a series of events that come towards you to trigger you to a point where it's saying, you're right, this is all shit. I mean, for me, it was certain aspects. And I mean, I can't even really be bothered about what they are because we all have individual ones. Then there would have been an energy of a situation where, you may have had a relationship, you may not have, but you might have met twin first, and then, whatever way it goes, there will be an energy of a soulmate, there will be an energy of the twin, there will also be a karmic related dynamic. Now, that karmic is the arsehole of the pack. Now, but it's a blessing. It is someone who gets you to a point where, and it can be around the time you meet twin, where you see your life in a different way and you go, I don't fit this paradigm. I don't fit this way of living. And you see something inside a masculine or a feminine that is completely opposite to yourself, and you say, this is different. I don't know why. I'm connected spiritually, emotionally. I'm drawn to this situation. Don't quite know why. Is this making any sense? Or am I just talking for the sake of talking? Okay, now the energy of your twin will be similar to a parent. And we're saying yes, okay. Your parent was your training to handle your twin, being a male or female, regardless, okay? That was hard work. Then you can directly see the synchronicity connected to the person you end up with who might or might not be twin. And you're going, hey, you're really similar. Your hard work. But you get it. You totally get it, but you see beyond that point. That's the same for you, who you are to them. Okay, this is where we need to break it down and understand why it's going on. What else do I need to say? You, energetically divine feminine, did not know that you were strong, because directly to deal with this, You had to be strong. You dealt with techniques. You intuitively knew how to deal with it, to Mickey your way around the situation. Correct. You have the tools, but you're not using them because the energy you feel with twin is a trigger. It's, I can't do that because there'll be a consequence. Yes, there is, but you need to stand into it and accept whatever that consequence is, because it is you holding your power to a point where it is really, you're energetically strong enough, both of you, male and female, to help each other learn something, to help each other break those walls down, because a lifetime of hurt have created these walls, ultimately speaking. And it is a long road. The longer you take to pull those walls down, the longer it's going to take to reach that peaceful place. And that's in general in life. You will hold people at bay. You won't let them in. You will be almost attracting dynamics to your world to sabotage your energy, to teach you, okay? So you might be fearful of them running. So that will continuously happen because you had to work so hard with your parent to gain their attention. You might be fearful to speak your truth because you felt never heard. So many different elements. So you're educated through your life to the point you meet your twin, to the point you leave your twin, be it they've left you, you've left them, and it goes on till you purge that process. Now, when you come to that place, unfortunately, be it you were in union or weren't, the retrograde was going to fuck that shit up. And that's because there's that little bit of crap that needs to go. And that can be on either side, and really it will be. You may not know what it is, but you do need to deal with whatever is coming up in an aspect of a trigger. It's your resume to tick down. And when I say resume, I don't even know why I use that. It's more your shopping list of what you need to tick down and mark off of what you need to emotionally deal with spiritually. So it might be you getting angry, that you don't have any friends to talk to. How do you directly bring that back to you? It might be that you're cross about your financial aspect. Again, what do you need to do about that? Moon in Cancer, don't even you freaking start with me. Somebody told her that she wasn't a twin. Don't you ever let anybody tell you you are not a twin. You fucking know you're a twin. You know how you know? Because they're the assholes. And they trigger you and they teach you and you're like, I'm a dickhead. Like, you do. You feel like a fruitcake. I mean, Greylands in Australia, that shit's check-in time. Had I believed what everyone thought about, you know, my current situation, I wouldn't be the spiritual person I am today. Honest to God. I won't say who that person is because I will not. I'm not the type to slag off other readers on YouTube. I don't know what you're saying. I hope it's politically correct. Yeah, I just don't feel, look, as guiders, you will be attracted to a reader. Now, this is a thing I was saying to a couple of people I know on YouTube that are readers. Directly speaking, we're very blessed on YouTube because you get to test the work before you get a reading. So if you feel it directly connects to you and you're having that aha clarity moment, they're the ones you go to. You know, and this is given free. Our time is given free of charge, very much where we get on here and we're trying to do the work to help and guide. So ultimately speaking, it's the best format to gauge a reader, tune into whether that message directly connects with you. And if they're the spiritual guide you wish to go to, it can be you just need to talk. It can be you've got a block and you need to have that directly dealt with. It might be that you need to intuitively tune into a past over loved one, however that relates. Most readers on the 3D, when you're walking down the street, you're walking into a shop and you're like, I need a reading. And you just go in there and you're like, I don't know what I'm getting. Yeah, I'll give you $80. And you go in there and you walk out and going, was that okay? Oh, we'll wait and see, won't we? if you know that message directly in a zodiac sign, in a reading, in a given situation, in a twin flame situation that relates to you, and you find someone, if you need that clarity, you go and get it, and you know where to get it, because YouTube is covered with readers. Best advice I can give you. We're blessed. We really are. We have a shop full of spiritual healers. But don't go and feed your ego. If someone's telling you this or that's happening, follow your intuition. Your inner knowing always knows. I knew. And someone goes, how did you know? I'm fucking psychic. Are you serious? Any questions? Smoke. No questions. What else are we dealing with that you want me to touch base on to give you some clarity on? Seeing as I just love listening to my own voice. Gemma's like, how can you just... Blah, blah, blah. My dad used to say to me, will you just shut up? How can you contact me? You can't access the website. I might actually have it open on my computer. I'll have to check. The internet crashed the other day and I couldn't get on, and I was like, oh my God, I got readings to do. I'll have a look tonight. Funny thing is, when I got that reading with her, yes, I know that. You're still giving your power away, okay? Moon and Cancer, don't even get me bloody started. No one can tell you your truth. No one can tell you your journey. You internally know. People that come back and they hover, well, do you want them around? Have you got unfinished business? Deal with that unfinished business. And Divine Feminines, you really need to understand an aspect. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I do apparently have some stalkers on YouTube. I've got to wait for the next comment to come up because I'm like staring at the screen like I'm like... Oh, the joy of life. Waiting for the next question. TF4 Karmic, how do you know? You know. Okay. Look, regardless, it has karmic-related energy inside it. That's what I will say. Another thing is, it will be an energy that doesn't dissipate. You know, no matter what, it's a different energy altogether. Sometimes it may be easier to deem it as a karmic, but there's karmic in every situation. There is karmic in alcohol and drug. There's karmic in jobs. There's karmic in every aspect of life. It's a trigger point. I'd rather deem it as a trigger point than a direct 3D person. Now, a karmic will be something that you think is all dressed up pretty to nine, and you get Route 66. I mean, but I want to go to Route 66, so that's probably a bad metaphor. You get a long road, and it's a long road to hell. How do you know if a person is my twin flame or not? How do you know? Okay, a general relationship, when it's reached its cycle, it's a bit like a friendship that is, there's different types of friendships. You'll have ones that'll come into your life and they're there for a short time. They're connected to the people in the circle of people around you. There's other ones that they're a lifetime friendship where they can come in and out at any time, and you pick up where like nothing has changed. But then you'll have other aspects where it'll just fizzle and it's served its purpose. That's very much just deemed as a connection as such. And that's definitely not karmic, because karmic, you remember that and you're like, I'm damn straight happy I got out of that shit. Twin is different. Twin is, it just lingers in the mind and it's frustrating at times because you think this is really crazy, like, and it can be paradigms of, you know, love through to hate with it, through frustration, dealing with abandonment, But you'll know the difference. It is a different energy. It's one of compassion and understanding, I would say, that even if you're not with them, you directly hope that they're happy and everything goes well. Whereas other situations where they're a relationship as such, and there isn't that huge spiritual connection, which twins do get very, very confused why the connection is there regardless of separation. It's a spiritual connection. It's a different connection, and it is there to help you grow. So a traditional relationship would kind of fizzle like they were just a distant memory, whereas twin energy remains in some aspect. Divine timing is directly connected to the amount of purging you've done, feminine stepping into their power and owning their truth, so that when it reaches time, when they've done their purging and you've done yours, you'll know when you've done yours, because you're not going to freak the hell out about it. You're just going to be, okay, sweet, whatever's going. And you need to ask yourself, are you ready? Have you done everything you needed to do? Did you follow your life path? Have you spiritually grown? Have you gone off and thought about it as a spiritual holiday where you can do some travel, where you can do some investigation of your own personal self? It's your twin flame journey. I mean, what is it do you believe in your life that is blocking connection? Have you purged aspects? Have you moved out of a karmic situation? Or are you staying there going, they're going to come and save me? No, they're not. Because the energy of twin is to be an adult, to move through adversity, to spiritually grow, and to hold your own. It is a singular energy. So that whereby within your friendships, within your family dynamics, you're standing in your truth and you're owning your power, and you've purged and you've healed to a point. It's like you're dancing. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like, hey, like, you know, a few days ago I was sitting there and I was going, yeah, shit's going down. And that's energetically as a collective. And it's like we can know that we're in a retrograde or anything to that degree. But do we then go into hermit mode and process for a bit? Yeah, I've had 16 years too, but do you know what I've learned? So yes, I can deem it as hell, but no, I can't, because ultimately, this is what I was saying to Mark. In life, we will come to a place where we'll say, and look, this retrograde for many have come to me and said, hey, honestly, and again, first point of call, doctors, or reach out to somebody, aspects of suicide. And that has been a lot of clients coming through to me with that trigger point internally going, you know what, I'm just like right there. And that probably would have been more so February, moving into March. But really, really, a lot of people have been coming through, you know, wanting to end all of it. Just going, there's no way out. How do we have our moral compass in life? How do we actually get through this aspect of adversity? And definitely speaking, you know, I do want to touch base with that so that we have some tools and we can work with that aspect. You've got to think back, though, as a tool. In your life, you cannot deem that every given year has been the same. Now, in it, there's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. But there's also going to be an aspect of a magic memory, an aspect of something changing. It has not stayed the same, right? So when you're in that energy, you really need to sit there, and it is an aspect of, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I honestly have no solution to this problem right now. Do I run? Do I find a Band-Aid effect to sort that shit out? Can I do anything to directly change it? Now, when you're getting like that, if we don't have tools to deal with that adversity, it's going to get worse. And the more you put that Band-Aid over it, yeah, but you know, it's the blocks that we have, and a lot of us can get angry about, hey, DM is doing this, DM is doing that. Whoa, okay, I get it. I totally get it. But look deeper. It's not the addiction that's the issue. And I'm trying to pronounce your name. Zonus. Okay, it's not. The energy of what lays beneath that situation is the personal internal demon. So compassion to the situation, a technique as such has been used to mask that pain. Now, then extra pain on top of that, on top of that, on top of that has come on top of it to a point it's a compressing feeling and it's just way too much. And the cloud as such is so black, how to get out of it becomes very... What causes addictions is not dealing with adversity, okay? So you have, it's life skills. Feminines are communicators. Many masculines do not have that aspect. Society has shaped masculine male energy, and this can be either side, to deem that aspect of purging as politically incorrect. Many men have been taught that they can't cry. Many men have been taught that's an aspect of weakness. Many men have come to a place where if they're not working, it directly connects to the ego. But really, we're vessels that are physical souls, and we do have feelings inside, but feminines are communicators, and we might have fought to have the vote and to have equal, but the energies have not equaled out for that compassion to be there. So we're standing there saying, you're divine masculine, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? The pressure in society in this day and age to not have that support system, to be able to actually feel it's correct. And that can be, they can be in a karmic relationship. That is not correct by society's standards to leave that situation, because it's that male's aspect of responsibility to stay in that given situation. So for many, it is a very hard energy to purge when it's an old way of thinking, even though vibrationally that human being may not feel spiritually fulfilled. And so because of, it can be religion, it can be society, the way we've really come to a place where that's relevant, that blocks that human being. And then they may use situations to mask it, and then other situations come on board, and it's a toppling effect where it's going down. Now, there can be other aspects where they're directly dealing with hurdles and they just haven't had the tools in life to be able to process it, because instead of directly dealing with it, they've run. So because they've run away from it, it's now all catching up, a bit like that song. It's all coming back to me now. And then it's all caught up. But unfortunately, from the running, they're so tired from that process, and they'd use tools to try and band-aid that situation. Now those wounds are so lacerated, they're trying to not only continue band-aiding it because it's just too overwhelming. Their dark night of the soul in that aspect of toxicity is very dangerous. It's a very heavy energy energetically. So the compassion directly connected to the reasons they've got to that place has to be there energetically. And how they directly deal with it and purge that process has to be their path. You can supportively be there with compassion and understanding, but by enabling, you're only delaying the inevitable of what they're going to do in an aspect of processing the pain that they've held for so long. You chased your 6-year-old son. Okay. We are, but we're receiving both energies. All of us are very tired, but maybe you just need to let it be. Maybe it needs to come to a place where, what's going on is divinely guided. But understand and try and have the direct compassion to do with whatever the DM is doing. Instead of looking at it and going, we've been moaning around for fucking rah. Yeah, okay, but have you been living? Another twin the other day said to me, I haven't heard from my twin in 3 years. Deem it in the mind, you're single. What are you doing? It's, again, a choice. Yes, you're a TF, but it's a physical choice. What you choose to do with it is completely your soul path and your choice during that transition. But are you spiritually growing through that process? Because that can actually delay spiritual growth. Are you going out and getting the career you wanted? Are you, doing what you need to do to get your self-esteem back on track? Are you living your biggest dreams? Are you manifesting the most happy, beautiful life you could possibly have that is within your grasp and your hands? Or are you giving your power away to a point where you physically feel it is a partner's job to do that, or that you're afraid to be on your own and you can't be in that energy and be on your own? So, those are relevant energies that we should think about as a collective. I swear my cat is having an absolute party. Friggin' fruitcake. Any other questions? It's tiring, but where can we take the power back and understand that at the moment we're in a shadow period and a lot of us have been depressed? Yeah, you do have to. Look, a lot of feminines at the moment are very tired. I did talk to a friend tonight and look, I did hear that the shadow effect would be halfway through this month, but it could be the whole month, really. As much as you release, look, she's partying. I mean, she's just bouncing back and forth. She gets very entertained when I'm on the phone. She probably thinks Jen's going to be on here shortly. Don't go to bed, Jen. Moon in Cancer, stay awake. Okay, and I've talked to someone about taking the power back as well. Okay, taking your power back. Think back to childhood. Think back to that parent that you had to work so bloody hard for. And I'm telling you, it's my dad. He would go quiet for days. He very much wanted a boy, so I had to work bloody hard because I was supposed to be a boy, but I was a real girly, and now I'm just, half really. I can do tiling, I can mow my own lawn, I can change the oil in my car and spark plugs and leads. I can wear cocktail dress and heels. And I worked in nursing for 25 years. I've done management, I've done a lot of jobs. So I'm the best of both worlds in a sense of me spiritually. I'd been a single mother for a long time. I was Elizabeth Taylor, tried the marriage. Shit didn't work. It's the way it goes. Now, being an empath means at childhood you would have had to work real hard. And I started learning with my dad. He'd go quiet and he wouldn't talk. DM's the same on my side. So for him, I would be like, okay, I knew he'd like my cooking. So Divine Feminine got her feminine on. Away I go and I'll make some banana cake. And he wouldn't be talking. And at one stage, this was when my mother and father were broken up. So I was flatmate for my father. And I walked in and he would always make this coughing noise that he wanted a coffee. And I went, yeah, okay, you're not going to talk to me. Made the banana cake and he would put so much butter on it. I mean, it was cardiac arrest and a friggin' cake. And he'd smudge it on. So there I was, walked in with this smoking, beautiful banana cake and this coffee. And I sat down. And I just looked straight and I started eating this banana cake. And he looked at me, he goes, you bitch. I went, oh, you're talking to me now. You had the training, okay? That's the only reason I'm telling you the story. You had the training. You know how to deal with it. But you worked very hard initially to get the attention, to deal with the person, to pussyfoot around situations. You became a giver. You felt internally that if you gave, it would be earning and you get something. You might get, oh, well done, good girl. Anything. And this could have been through your whole life. And after a while, it gets old and you get a bit angry and you get triggered. It might be with TM, with your twin, okay? It might be with your twin, right? You get triggered. Oh, there's going to be a consequence for an action. Back in little girl or little boy mode. I fucked up. Ooh, there's a consequence. They're going to run away. Yeah, and what always happens? So you're part of that cog in the wheel. The reality is, it's not to be done in a nasty manner. It's supposed to be about you coming to a place of just, is something right or wrong for you, and owning that factor. So if something relevant in a connection, be it, husband and wife, a twin flame, a relationship dynamic, however that be, if something isn't sitting right with you, yet you're doing it, you're going to become angry with yourself and you will emotionally feel robbed. Not financially, emotionally, right? So by you assessing at any given point in your life what is relevant, what is right, what's not, and speaking your truth, that's owning your power. And it is complicated to do that because you're remembering your childhood related aspects. So to purge that fact can be very difficult because you're going back over old ground and you're remembering a trigger point that you physically have to outlearn. It is self-love, but it's also permission-based that you're being yourself and you're going, hey, I don't want to do that. Or, hey, what you did to me wasn't cool. The way you spoke to me was not appropriate. And this is with anybody in your life. No, the give and take in the situation is not balanced. It's not respectful. Hey, I'm trusting you with your phone. Hey, I'm trusting you with our connection and your truth, with your promises, any aspect as such. But it's you standing in your power to a point where you're owning what's right for you and what you're entitled to emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Does that make sense? And it's hard. And I even go back over old ground and go, oh, I'm doing it again. So the karmic doesn't get why I don't get mad when he insults me. Does it matter? You're giving your power away. It's hard because unless I was directly talking to you, so the karmic, what, your partner's karmic or your karmic physically? Hi, Giggle Glimmer. How are you? Did you miss my head? It's okay. It's okay, Giggle Glimmer. I'm here. I know. It's due to the retrograde. Watch the video from the beginning, okay? Yeah, watch it from the beginning. It's going to give you a lot of insight. Yeah, no, don't. Don't buy into mind games. Don't play games. Be at your correct frequency. You know, act with integrity and keep your vibration correct. This video here at the beginning, when you watch it from the beginning, I have discussed what's going on with, you know, the retrograde, how it's triggering tower moments with twins, and spiritually with, you know, people with any old situations cropping up for finalization. Yeah, 3D's sucking at the moment, but we need to look at it, but we need to move above and beyond it and just be in the moment, be in the energy. So if you feel like going in hermit mode, go do that. If you feel like crying, go cry. If you're angry, be relevant in that energy and try and tap into it, and then meditate. Meditate and do the 5D work. When I say 5D work, just try and find the faith. It's okay, I found one. Yeah. Yeah, I had a hard week last week. It was pretty challenging, but I'm actually really surprised. I spiritually had a download that was such, similar to yours. But again, the beginning of the video will explain why this is happening. You need to have trust in yourself, Gypsy, okay? Because there's a reason why this trigger point had to come to turn the shit upside down, and it's to help purge. It's this video at the beginning. It talks about it all, about the energy of the month and what's going on with the twins. And yep, yes, my technical difficulties have been up the shit. Okay, karmic related dynamics are coming up. Some people may be getting to a point where a physical partner, be it twin or other, might be going back to revisit a past tense situation. This can be a physical karmic, the physical karmic, or a person that mirrors the karmic in some shape or form. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm holding the integrity of twin because there are relative reasons this is happening. So I physically know as a spiritual advisor why this is happening, but I'm a human being as well. And yeah, I get pissed off. And I probably did not act like a lady, but I'm cool. I'm human. we're purging what no longer serves us. So our ego, connected to time, connected to power, connected to maybe a threshold or a benchmark of what is and what isn't acceptable. I think that's gone right the fuck up here right now. But compassion needs to come, and the art of communication needs to come through, because the reason why this is happening isn't even directly connected to you, connected to them. It's connected to the past. It's a technique to help trigger a very horrible way of purging an aspect of the past. And if they want to stay there, well, that's a pretty shitty life. But it is about spiritual growth on both sides, however that be. Google it, directly connected to, if you're seeing a synchronicity to numbers, you personally need to think what you were thinking at the time and research what it's meaning for you. Purge can look like crying, screaming, mute, hermit mode, hearing a song, getting a trigger. It's all aspects of purging. And I just keep thinking of that movie, The Purge. You know the baggage when a trigger point comes up, then you know where it stems from, because you think, okay, when was the first point that a similar situation directly happened to me? Why is this triggering me so much? Jen asked me a question the other day, and it was connected to that, and it was like, because there was always an aspect of me feeling someone to choose me. And it's like, I do get chosen, but it's like this. And she goes, where did that stem from? And it was a very interesting conversation. It went all the way back to a very dear friend I had as a neighbour that I was very super close to. And my sister was hanging out with him. He was super best mates with me. And I mean, I wouldn't deem it as love, but it was maybe a kiddie crush. And my sister had this way where she just, you know, she came in and it was like they abandoned ship and off they went, and was like, wow, really? And it happened regularly. So it triggered me all the way back from there. And that's why that energy, what I felt that I couldn't directly process at that time, it held with me all the way through my life. Yet you don't think it can. It's something so simple. So sometimes you can go, okay, where did this come from? What was the first point, your first experience where that happened? And go back and go, wow, did I not let that shit go? I think I threw a rock at his head. What a bitch, right? Was that you? Darren, if you ever see my YouTube account, I'm so fucking sorry. He was my neighbour in New Zealand. Wow. I mean, he really should apologise to me. He abandoned ship. I mean, how fucking could he, right? Any other questions you guys have? At an hour? Fuck, people must hate my videos. They're like, an hour? Damn no. My cat's talking more than you guys at the moment. Yes, look, a lot of you will start seeing synchronicities. So as you are, and look, all of you, be it a twin, be it not, energetically as a collective, all of us are going through mass processing. Now, I will say, whatever you choose in your path is your physical choice. Yes, you will always be a twin. Yes, we do have power, and we need to remember that. So you may choose that you wish to have a soulmate connection. You may choose that you're going to continue on your twin path. Energetically, it's completely up to you. You know, what you do with that energy. You will be guided to purge and be triggered, and maybe they may come back. I do feel lots is changing around that. Where it is at the moment, there is a shift coming. You need to ride that wave. The clarity is coming. If you need more clarity, tune in, email me, find me on my website, you know, and I'll try and help you do that process directly connected to your direct twin. I can tune into them and see what is going on with them and where their personal blocks lie. And I can help you understand with the information you know how to process it, where perhaps with a trigger point of a storyline that you tell me why this is happening. And you look, I can tune into it, but also if you're wanting to focus in on an energy, I can tell you the reasons why that given situation is happening and how to deal with it. Oh, look, shit was smoothing. It was flowing for me. But we are, as a collective, just at a human being level. Many of us are changing. Many of us are very tired. Many of us are going, do we need to check into a mental institution? Are we crazy? Is it twin? Isn't it? Is it ever going to happen? Do we need to let it go? Again, all energy related to you as a person. It's your relevant truth. But you will start to see synchronicities. Now, these can be numbers. It can be number plates with a name on it. It can be physical, full-blown names. And it's telling you energy is directly connected to you. Also pick up on your body vibrations. Are you getting headaches all of a sudden out of nowhere? Neck aches, back aches, chest pains. For masculines, I'm feeling again heart-related, heart chakra-related, heart pains. Brief, short, sharp. What else is coming through? Energy almost there and then very, very distant and just... yeah, just random energies, but you need to pick up on those energies of what you're sensing. Now, many of you that are younger on in the journey, that won't be coming through as yet. When the numbers do, that's when the energy will increase where you do. What was the wall to, Lynette? Yeah, look, there's twins of many generations. Me personally, I do feel each one of us has a twin. I discussed it with my daughter on the way home tonight. And it's going to change the frequency of the generations behind us, where these relevant ways in which we live and interact with each other as human beings, as a collective, will change, where they spiritually will grow and choose their path. Yes, they will be, but it will be almost downloads, images, memories on top of what they're already purging, nagging energies of perhaps name. For those of you who are asking about DM and whether they're seeing synchronicities, theirs may be different. Theirs will be their intuition, you know, tuning things up. What else was I going to say? Dreams. So really almost like it's coming into the dreams and the mindset and affecting their energy levels, where they can go from being very neutral to very aggressive. So it can be many things. Any other questions? At an hour and 12. They can be, but they can also be messages. And Divine Feminine, you guys need to understand that at the moment you guys are going to be getting almost like dreams. And yeah, I've been getting repeating numbers. But again, that's connected to your spiritual path, not just the connection. It's your spiritual path because it's relevant to you. Yeah, on a dream level, you're going to be having random dreams. Pay attention to them. They'll come and go as they please. Numbers will come back and then they'll go. They can do. They can lead up to an event. Look, sometimes when I'm really triggered, I just go to bed and I've got my headphones on and then I feel like I've got a neck ache in the morning because it's like, you know, Mickey Mouse. And then there's other times I'll just put chakra or healing-related meditation music on. Interesting. I did dream of my twin flame. He was so broken in it. Yes. Yes, I received similar download. Best advice, step back. Let them process what they need to process and accept it. Don't hold on. Let go and let it happen. It's divinely guided. Holding on too tight, again, is an aspect of control, which is ego related. Very much we had that in 2016. We're pushing shit uphill. We've had the training. We need to apply that energy now. Just go with the flow. Let it flow naturally. Don't enable them though. They can ask you for help, but then place it back on their field of what do you think you want to do? What would you like me to, like from my perspective, I can tell you, but ultimately it's a choice you need to own. It's your path. Because taking over is codependency and enabling. You know, if you can, yes, be super cautious. Super cautious. Twins are very tricky energies. Yeah. Look, many situations that I helped with my TF situation for my DM, it was like, wow, like, why did I? Because even overhearing conversations, it's like, that's your mindset connected to me? Wow. And look, even talking to a friend that holds DM energy, very much to hear that mindset of they can actually take things personal. Yes, we both will. And that's what the process is. Yeah, look, it's a lot of it, maybe coming back into it for those of you who were working directly with the twin. You may be questioning like, oh my God, why have I got into this? Did I get into it? It's a fucking mess. It was for a reason. You've got to trust in the process. Everything happens for a reason. Be it you're moving on your spiritual path or you're going back, however that directly relates in your life path of what the part in the journey is you're at, or be it, you know, you've only had that early connection, you've only just made contact with them in a sense of communicating your truth of who you are. All of it is divinely guided, and any trigger point that's coming through is coming through for a reason. Whatever's coming up in a trigger point might be old ways of doing things. That can be narcissistic energy. It can be toxic energy. For you, you need to look in your backyard and see how it directly relates to you. We're going over old ground. We're purging old shit. So what is it, in a sense, that you might be working through right now? It's almost like we're going through, pulling off the Band-Aid and doing an aspect of healing. So when we're doing that, we need to be gentle with ourselves and stop projecting and looking at what they're not doing, because we are physically hurting. All of us as a collective are hurting at the moment. So we need to be gentle with ourselves, and we need to directly understand that we need to nurture that pain, heal that block, because there's a hole. It might be a hole in your heart, emotionally, spiritually, really questioning your path, and just be gentle on yourself at this point. It's been a very heavy energy for the last 3 months. You know, like I said, if you're needing help and you want that support, reach out to me and I'll do the very best. You know, definitely through that purging process, it was quite difficult. A lot of readers weren't on YouTube, weren't giving readings, and of course this dickhead was like, yeah, I'll be okay. Yes, granted, you know, you do get to a point that you understand your capacity, what you can and can't do. And you definitely do help each other by growing and moving through it together as a collective. So, you know, your hurt is my hurt. We all as a collective are feeling this. That is any energy. All of us as human beings at the moment are moving through adversity, and it is challenging. So, you know, don't think for a moment you're alone. You're physically not. It is a very difficult time. You're going to have your good and your bad days. It is supposed to be a better year. I would like to see that. Kimberly. How you doing? Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. things are going to get better. Just remember back in your life and remember the beautiful moments you've had of dreams that you fulfilled, and just try and remember that part. I know. I deeply had a very hurtful moment about a week ago, and I just never felt it possible. And yes, the hurt did happen to me many times before. But again, you know, there are deeper reasons why these things are happening. But we do need to let go. So, you know, for many of us, we do need to let go of the hurt. We need to feel it because it will represent and remind you of a previous situation, plus the frustration of the time frame of how long it's been in that transition emotionally. You've been purging and healing through that process. Yeah, definitely. Trust me. If we do talk, I will enlighten you as to what's happened with me. But on YouTube, you know, I do need to protect the connection with compassion and integrity. And I mean, physically, if I gave you guys a reading, I directly would not relay it on here. So it's the same integrity in any given sense. But I do have direct understanding of what you're going through. But there's spiritual reasons why these things are happening, okay? But yes, when we do talk, I will enlighten you at a neutral level. Any other questions, guys? Do we feel a bit more like we understand what's going on? It's almost like we're throwing the trash out. Now, the trash is not human beings. For some of us, it might be, hey, we just can't do something, okay? But it can be that what's coming up is like an explosion and the benchmark's risen. That benchmark had to rise, especially for divine feminines. Lots had to, but divine masculines as well, where they realise their worth and they realise, you know, why they've gone to this level, because they're purging but they're feeling unworthy. So they're choosing their level, their frequency of what they feel their relevance is. And until they own that and purge that to a point where they stand in their power, because it's not just feminine standing in their power, it's actually masculine saying, hey, you know what? Yes, people may as a collective say I'm a narcissist. Yes, people might say I'm X, Y, and Z. They've started absorbing that like a sponge to a point they're believing in that, and it's becoming a core truth. And again, aspects of trigger points and going back over old ground are coming from that perspective. So it's a very difficult energy to move through. So when it happens to you personally, again, 3D, you're like, wow, you know, how could you fucking do that to me? How could you hurt me this way? Go deeper. Again, I did read a book at one stage, and it did state, when we look at our parents and we're saying, wow, you know, you do have a vibration where you feel maybe you wanted love in a different way, you didn't quite understand it. They do say in this book, look back at their parents and see how their parents educated them, raised them, etc., to shape who they were. So you see who your parents were, you see who their mother was, and who their grandparents were, and you'll see a chain. You'll see a pattern of the reasons why people were shaped in a certain way, and then you can look at it from a separate perspective, where you're looking at it from an external, saying, that's why mum and dad treated me that way. But that was actually the reasons why they were speaking to us in a particular way, or not showing you love in a particular way. And then you don't, although it felt personal at that level, we're just going to remove this person because can't be bothered. Because ultimately speaking, it then helps us understand that they didn't want to show you love in that way. That was how they were taught to show you love. So then you can kind of release that aspect and cut the umbilical cord of the reasons why, you know, you did not receive what you felt vibrationally was your frequency. It wasn't an intentional thing at all times. It might have been due to their upbringing, and you break the cycle. Does that make sense? So masculines really are learning about their own energy and how to process what's been going on with them. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So although at the moment, from an ego perspective, we're like, wow. And yeah, broken. Human beings being broken all over the shop. Hi. So, you know, when that happens, we do need to have also the disconnect and go, okay, look at it from an outsider's point of view. Why has this human being, why has this soul come to this place that they are feeling emotionally or spiritually broken? How did they get there? The same as what I've suggested to you to do with your mum and your dad, and then look back to their parents, and then look back to their parents before. What happens is you see a synchronicity and you gain understanding and compassion, and then you can do the same with divine masculine or divine feminine, however it directly relates. Does that make sense? And then you've disconnected, you've looked at it from an outsider's point of view, which is a more mature place, because very much so, I'm telling you, twin connection is different. Because it's changing your frequency so that you are having unconditional love to humanity. And it's very odd. People could say, how could you do that? It's compassion. You're understanding why the human being has got to that place. It's a physical compassion. That can be to your friends. That can be to your mothers. It's hard, but it's relevant. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on as a collective for all of us. Very difficult. And I just couldn't leave you guys in the lurch here alone, thinking that this was like, ugh. But lots of people are getting triggered. Lots of people are saying, is it even real? You know, especially if you've had a connection, you haven't heard from them in years, you're like, Because they haven't finalised it yet, and because the retrograde. That's why. That's why. It's a finalisation, it's relevant. We had to go back over old ground. And I think I explained it in one video. It's almost like, how do I put it? You come into a situation where you have the training through the twin flame journey. Now, twin flame journey can be at any given point in time, just meeting them. Some people won't even be intimate. Some people may not choose to even go any further. But, you know, directly, generally, it is a romantic connection from what I've visually seen through my clientele and text. Generally, it feels more driven that way, but you spiritually can choose for it to be merely a spiritual journey. Now, in the connection, you go through a lot of purging and processing, and now I've forgotten the fucking question. Good on me. I'll have to wait till it clicks up again. That's really random. I'll have to wait for another question to come up, and then I can respond to what you asked me. Oh, God, my neck is shit. I bet you guys got the sound effects on that side. How does DM go through purging the dark night of the soul and come out worse? Okay. Generally speaking, it's because it's a bit like you learn something. You go to school and you learn it. And then, you know, you get a job and you are trying to apply that. And then you get the test. You know how I say you have 3 tests from universe? So you get the aha moment. And you go, it'll be okay. Then you get the other aspect, which, you know, you have like an example and an aha moment. And you go, oh, that was pretty close. You know, I should really do something. And then you have a physical consequence, which is we're being triggered. We're being tested. And that's really what the situation is. This is a test. Do you wish that energy to be at a permanent level and go back over old ground and live in that shit? Or do you want to go and address that, go and look at it and purge it, that finalisation of it, and then move the fuck forward? And that's really what's going on. Does that make sense? Because, again, it's a spiritual choice energetically. Now, that can be whatever you're dealing with. It can be your emotions and you feeling you have no courage to move forward. It can be your belief system and your spiritual core sense of what you are and who you are. It can be, a karmic situation that you don't directly want to deal with, and you're just like, I don't even understand how that happened, and then some other situation that mirrors the karmic comes back into your life, and that's when twins can actually have, and this is in general as a collective, not just twins, I mean, because all of us are twins, we actually energetically will have a person that resembles a person you were with, to then do an aspect of purging with, to then move forward and go, hey, I learnt my fucking lesson. I'm getting the fuck out of the hot pot. Or you go live in that because that's what you feel your worth is and you're refusing to get your vibration up. But then that's the aha moment, which is a funny finger really. It's the aha moment. I didn't mean to do that. And then you get the universe is going to trigger you. If you're not meant to be there, it ain't going to let you be there. It's just the way it goes. It's the three rule. The Trinity, the three. Ironic, right? Oh gosh, you're funny, Giggle. Kimberly said something about trying to mind our own business. What? Did I miss something? Oh, is it getting juicy on here? I don't know. I didn't read that because I usually read off and I don't. Yeah, we do need to focus on our own energy. It is difficult at times. Sometimes, but the relevancy is when you're further along in the journey, you're getting the downloads. Yeah, and we do need to be mindful of ourselves. But again, if we were at all times to the point where we were in that frequency, we would be to the point we've physically chosen to energetically, how do I put it? We wouldn't be here looking at this video if we were at all times just in ourselves, right? Because we need the clarity, because we do get those blocks at times, and that's us being 3D human beings. So that's relevant as well. Yes, we will get triggered. We are human. That's okay. But as much as possible to ground yourselves, use your techniques, use your experience, use your childhood. You know, when you get a trigger, directly deal with that. That's the cycle. And that is us working on how we can get our life back on track. I mean, honestly, with what I've been through in the last week, I should be crying like a fucking bitch. Maybe blowing something up. You know what I mean? I should be, but it's how is it going to serve me? Spiritually, how is it going to serve me? I'm standing my ground. I'm doing the work. I know my core truth, and, you know, I've got a house. I have bills. Life moves on. What do? We all have choices. Now, whatever is to come is energetically geared. I'm trusting in the process. That's the way life goes. And again, being an ego, 11:11, I don't even know what fucking time it is. You know, being in it, what do we have control over and what don't we? And are we going to pull our pride down to a point where if that communication is there, we're going to speak our truth like adults without the anger and aggression and the trigger? You know, have your hermit mode, do that shit. And then if that comes about where you can speak like adults, you deal with that then. Does that make sense? 12:12. Yeah, but I mean, all of us, you know, can learn from each other. It's hard, and none of us know what each other's path is. You know, your story will be very different to mine. Some of you would go, wow, what the fuck? Others of you, I would hear your story and hats off to you. So, you know, let's not take any kind of Let's not undermine any person's journey on here because it's all very difficult. Some of us, like I said, had felt suicidal. Please reach out. Don't feel alone. You know, and try and do the work if you can. If you need to cry, cry. And again, this is a collective energy. It still is a shadow period, so a lot of us are going to feel that, and it's relevant. So you're not alone. I just want to tell you, you're not going crazy. Yeah, and it's very hard to come to that place where you're going, I can't believe I'm not judging. But look, I very much will be honest. You know, of late, I've had a lot of triggers connected to people that I believe that were directly connected to me judging me. But again, that is a projection in a mirror. So whereby have I been doing that physically? And a few lessons have come through this situation in the last week where energetically there was a person around me that was making me feel quite placed back in a traditional 3D control base. And that was through friendships, etc. And I was like, wow, I've actually changed. I'm not that person anymore. That doesn't feel comfortable with me. So, you know, there are blessings that come through moving through adversity because you have a bit of an aha moment and then you look at yourself and go, where in some shape or form perhaps were you controlling or very much pushy in a situation? And you have your meditation time where you can sit back and go, fuck, you know, what was I doing? If that makes sense. It's getting a bit cold now. Any other questions before I run away? But yes, I will be doing the videos live for the, what do you call it, the zodiacs. And I did put a very brief video up in relation to that I was going to do the videos live due to the energies that are coming through. I had started recording them, but I feel an energy shift, so I'm just going to leave it. And there I am reading. And I did notice that there was a person that put the thumbs down to the video, and I was thinking, and I have had an issue with a couple of friends, and I thought, hadn't even done a video. It's not like you can say you got the zodiac sign, you've already got a thumbs down. And I was like, really? So we are getting triggered, but we need to keep out of that ego place, and we need to do the communication at a correct level and a respectful level, you know, so we're not getting triggered. And we need to look at how this is directly relating to us, why we're going back over old ground, why these situations need dealing with. So love and light, guys. I think I'll do a video on that, Kendra, how the energies can be. Look, whoever directly at the beginning held more masculine energy, that can be female or male, not a drama. Try and log on to the website because generally speaking, I answer the questions inside the website, not the emails. Because just jumping back and forth with the magnitude of bookings, try and inbox me there. Otherwise, I'll touch base with you. You can find me on Skype, though. But it is the black and white photo with my hair down. It's not the other one. I do have to delete the other one. I haven't managed to get to it yet. Generally through the website. Yeah, email through the website and I'll touch base with you. But make sure you put your contact details in there. Some people get on there and they go, Yildiz, and I'm like, you didn't leave your email address. Like, how can I communicate back with you? Sweet. What was I saying before? Again, just gas bagging on. That's okay. I hope it's helped. I hope we feel a little bit more grounded where we're going, is that what's going on? Not a problem. Anyone who's new, welcome. If you feel this information is going to be relevant to anyone who's currently having a trigger or feeling stuck, share it away because this can help people where they can understand and process. And like I said, I'll be trying to do the videos, you know, for blocks and how we can deal with triggers, toxicity related situations. You were grounded under your truck an hour ago. Okay. Not a drama, giggle, glimmer, anytime. Yeah, so I hope it has helped, and I hope we get, you know, we've got a bit more understanding about what's going on, because all of us are feeling up the shit. And I wish I didn't have to come on here and tell us that, but hey, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You just don't know quite why. Apart from the relevant 3D related situations, but why as a collective it's going on. You're lucky I'm a gas bag. My dad used to tell me to shut up. Now he's going, that's my girl. Wow. I hope you had fun with that. Yeah, it's, look, and a lot of people are going through it, but it's connected to dealing with triggers. That's where it stems from. You know, not having the tools in life. Getting out of it's going to be hard, but this shadow period is bringing that to light. Okay. Now I'm going to have to plug my phone in.